Welcome to the Electronic Village Online EVO Best of 2018. We have many different people here that are going to speak to you about the Electronic Village Online. We'll begin with Martha, who's going to talk about the flipped learning in language teaching, 17 years of EVO and 4 years of EVO Minecraft with Vance Stevens, and then a wide variety of other people. So what we'll be doing is flipping through this quite quickly, about 8 minutes, 8 to 10 minutes per presenter, and then we'll take questions at the end. So we're going to turn it over to Martha. Martha is from Universidad de los Andes in Colombia, and she's going to be speaking about flipped learning in language teaching. Martha.
Okay. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having us. So on behalf of the EVO, the Electronic Village Online coordinating team, I'm just going to do a very general introduction. How many of you, with a raise of hands, how many of you are familiarized with Electronic Village Online? Okay, 2 of you, 3 of you, good. Okay, so for those of you who are not, I'm just going to do a general introduction. So basically, the Electronic Village Online offers professional development sessions for free. And it's been working for 18 years. So here's the number of presentations that have been going on for the past 18 years. This year we had 14 sessions. So basically how this works is volunteer English teachers offer sessions which are short courses on different topics. And during these 18 years, the topics have varied widely. There's a lot of topics that have to do with technology, but also business English, native versus non-native, etc. I am one of the moderators of Flipped Learning, so I will be also telling you about Flipped Learning. Okay. This is the EVO coordinating team. We are 14 in the team. I am one of the coordinators. And basically what we do is we receive the proposals and give all the backup that any teacher who would like to give a proposal for EVO needs. These were the sessions this year. Some of the presenters today will be mentioning these sessions, so I guess some of you are here for some of these sessions, like teaching pronunciation differently is one of the ones that we'll be presenting. And you can follow us on electronic VO through Twitter if you want to know when the proposals, when the call for the proposals is ready. Okay, so this is the agenda for today. Diana Salazar, my colleague, and I will be talking about flipped learning. Then Vance Stevens will talk about EVO Minecraft, and then we'll have a variety of presenters who will be connected online talking about their sessions. Okay? So I'm going to pass you to Diana, who's going to talk about flipped learning, who's going to start with flipped learning.
Hello everyone, how are you today? Good? So we're going to start with the flipped learning session that we have this year. What do you know about flipped learning? If you're familiar with the term, please raise your hand. Good. Have some fans here. So, as all of you know, flipped learning is when we go from the space of the classroom into a more individual space at home. Children, students, young learners, and adolescents are going to be watching videos at home based on tutorials, based on the theory, so that they seize the space of the classroom within the school. The session of this year in Flipped Learning, in the EVO session, had a team of coordinators all around the world. We have people from Colombia, from the States, Katja, who was our teaching companion in Europe. And the idea was that each one of us would give backup to those teachers within the session. We had some goals within our sessions, which were to create flipped content for a lesson, to see examples of flipped learning in different contexts, to network with other participants. For us, this is one of the most important ones, and to implement a flip lesson with students, and of course to design a plan for flipping one course or segment of a course in the future. So as all of you know, within flip learning, there's one of the one of our teaching models in flip learning is when we have a professional educator. Yes, it means that you need to be global. You need to know about the trends in your country and the trends all around the world. You just not need to center on the context of your country, but you need to work with some other teachers. So this is the reason why networking within the Google Plus community and within EVO was very important to us. We had around 237 participants from all around the world enrolled in this course. From those participants, you can see there, we have Europe, South America, North America, and Africa. Okay? The sessions of our flipped learning session, the tools were to access, like through Amble, students had the opportunity to access the course content. So in there you would find all the readings, all the important theory and concepts. And then this was the most used tool within the session. We, in Google Plus community, since it's an app that you can access within your cell phone, teachers had the opportunity to actually put threads and participate in the threads of discussions, posting comments and sharing ideas. And of course, there are lesson plans. In Flipgrid, we use this platform for doing introductions. Flipgrid, it's an application, it's a video application that you can use within your classroom, and it allows you to produce about 1 minute. It's 1 minute videos, right? 1 minute, 1 minute and a half videos. So we use this in order to introduce teachers from all around the world and transform this session to something more amiable just than posting threads and comments in Google Plus community. And on Twitter, we were creating a trend of hashtag Flibo 2018 where where participants were able to post comments, to follow authors regarding flip learning. And of course, there was one day a week where we have a special guest, and all of us were online, and we were with the special guest, and we had a special panel. So the purpose of this session was to pose a collaborative discussion. It was just not to teach participants, but was also to listen to those concerns as teachers we have in the classroom. So some of the thoughts of teachers within this session were that you need to be more of a risk taker within the classroom. Flip learning is a lot more work. Yes, we're aware of that, but it's something that we need in order to seize the space of the classroom within our lessons. By setting an example as an innovator and a creator, this was one of the parts within our lesson. That was how to make that mind shift in order to be innovative. To be innovative is not just to create the water, is to reinvent the wheel that we already have. So it means that as an innovator, you need to be a leader in your schools. Yes, you need to take the risk. You need to go there and find out what flip learning was. And that was one of the missions within our session of flip learning. Continue to learn, research, and implement what we learn in this course and share with others. Teachers are still using the Google Plus platform in order to communicate. Like they created bonds, and that was one of the purposes. To create a network where you can have support, where you can see other teachers doing lesson plans, asking questions, hey, you know what I can do here? Because maybe sometimes you feel alone in this mission of being innovative, of being a leader in your school. But you're not alone. You have teachers from all around the world. Going in small chunks, step by step, and then expanding. Flipped learning is something, it's something that can be overwhelming at the first time, yes, but maybe if the purpose of this workshop was to show teachers in each one of the weeks, because this is a 5-week workshop where they could actually discuss, where they could actually comprehend and understand all that theory going around flipped learning. So these were some of the other thoughts teachers have. There's a lot of Bloom's taxonomy going on. In flipped learning, we have this upside down, this pyramid. A lot of excitement going around. We actually had something that was called student choice. It means that we actually are more empathic with our students when we use this type of lessons, because we get to know them a little bit more, yes? We have in-class flip. Have you heard about the in-class flip? Who are you are familiar with the in-class flip? Like, raise your hand. Okay. Marta maybe can tell you a little bit more on this one. She's the expert here. And of course, creativity. As I was telling you, it doesn't mean reinventing the water or reinventing the wheel, but see what other uses we have for that wheel and that water. Okay? So Marta, can we tell us about a little bit of in-class flip while we finish?
Okay, so basically, as Diana was mentioning, in this 5-week session, we developed lesson plans with 237 participants around the world. And one of the takeaways was in-class flip, which is not doing the home flip. When you flip, you can send the instruction home through a video, through a text, through an audio file, right? So we're flipping how we're giving direct instruction. For teachers who don't have the opportunity to send the flipped content home, which happens in different contexts, in our case in Colombia, there are policies, or there are, school policies where we can't send homework. So teachers can do it within the classroom setting, and this can be done in different ways. It could be through station work with a specific station where the flipped content is available to the students. Could be through a video, could be through flashcards, could be through anything that is replacing the direct instruction, or that's the most commonly known form of in-class flip, through station work, or it can be non-station, which is providing the content to students to work individually in pairs or in groups, and then guiding the process for active learning to take place the whole class time. So you want to say something else? No, we're good. Okay, so this was kind of the highlights of our session. EVO offers these sessions every January during 5 weeks between January and February. If you follow Electronic Village, or if you're connected to the TESOL page, you will find information. If you have access to the emails, you'll also receive information, or our Twitter handle. If any of you are interested in offering courses, you can also be in touch with us for the following year. And if you're interested in taking the course, well, we're going to be offering it again next year. Okay, thank you. I don't know. She hasn't right yet. What? Who's next? Vance. Yes? Okay, does anybody have any questions?
And what we'll do is we'll take the questions here. We're waiting for Vance. Vance Stevens is good at multitasking, so I'd like you to help me when he comes up. When he walks in, let's all of us stand up, just took and give him a round of applause. He'll get a real kick out of it if you know Vance. He's good at multitasking. He works for the Electronic Village down there. He's doing a presentation on Minecraft. But any questions for these attractive young women about the Electronic Village? Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Actually, it was a very impressive presentation I've heard so far. I'm Mushkan Shams, coming from Kabul Education University, Afghanistan. My question is, in case I would like to be a part or a member of this group, are there any opportunities for me in order to join this group and to be a member of this?
You would like to be a member as someone who takes the sessions or a moderator to teach in the sessions?
No, someone who takes the session.
Okay. It's really easy. So when the call comes out, what you have to do is just reach. Usually we will post how you can register to the course, how you can connect to the Google+. So it's a matter of willingness. If you want to be a part of the flipped learning session or any of the sessions in the Electronic Village, when the call comes out and they are ready to start, you say, I want to join, and that's it. It doesn't have any difficult steps to it. So it's just your willingness to join, and you're very welcome to join any of the sessions.
And just as to kind of further that, because I have had those questions myself, they're held every January, is that right? Do they begin in January?
Yes.
So they begin in January, and if you check the TESOL website, there's usually information about it.
Yes.
Or if you keep Vance Stevens' Gmail address, contact him. He could let you know specifically when. Yeah?
I can give you my card. You can also contact me.
Okay. Is there another question about the Electronic Village? Yeah?
I'll do a plug for Electronic Village. I did the Making Machinima in Second Life thing, which was like 3 or 4 years ago.
Okay.
It was really good. I really got a lot out of it. I've actually done it 2 years in a row.
Okay.
I'm sorry you're not doing that anymore because it was really, really useful.
Wonderful.
Well, I know the Electronic Village is very flexible and open, so if you, I think, can propose one, contact Vance. Again, what did you do your session on 2 years ago?
Machinima, Making Machinima in Second Life.
I know I went to one on Second Life, and I really enjoyed it. Anybody else been to one of the Electronic Villages and online courses and want to speak to that as we're waiting? Yeah? Well, I know Nellie Deutsch, who is a real important part of the Electronic Village, is ready to speak on Zoom. Do you know if Zoom is up? Do you want to see if Zoom is up? Do you know how to get that on? She would be ready to speak. I'm kind of just waiting for Vance to come. I've done this before. I worked with Vance at the higher colleges of technology, and we were really good at covering each other's back. The Electronic Village online, I guess I can let you know that it's January. And has anybody else gone to the Electronic Village beside these two presenters? Yes. Oh, good. Oh, you saved me. So can you just tell us a little bit about what course you were part of?
What course? We're not part of a course. We were just presenting. Okay. No, Katrina and I just presented on different ways of using simple English Wikipedia in the university English classroom, ways of finding reading materials that are free, and you don't have to worry about copyright, obviously. So that's what we were working on. We're finished, though.
So there's a wide range of programs. I hope that we can bring Nellie up. Do you have Zoom? Maybe I can put a plug in for the rest of the Electronic Village while I'm waiting, because I'm a little stuck. And when Vance comes, we're going to give him a hard time. Down at the other end of this hall is the Electronic Village, and there are a lot of really good sessions. You can get the app. The app is available, which lists all of them. And there's also a program booklet that's available at the front. I'm doing a session in about 45 minutes on call for newcomers. So if you've never done too much with apps or call or mall, come on down at 12 o'clock. And that's what happens here sometimes. We multitask. So I can get you just to wait a little bit. I'm going to try to bring up Nellie Deutsch, because Nellie Deutsch is Skyping in or Zooming in from Germany, I believe, and she does a lot of really neat work. So if you give me just a second, I'm going to try and get her on. And if I go like this, that's when you stand up and you give a round of applause for Vance coming in, okay? Zoom. This is Jonah.
Since I don't know, yes.
Okay, so let's try.
She can moderate because they need a host.
Yes.
Zoom is
So
asking
somebody's.
for a host.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
So if she can be made the host, then she will moderate.
So you want to join? Do you know how to do it?
No, but I can.
Let's figure it out. How about I would say join? How about right?
You know that, right?
Yes, I do.
I do.
You
Yeah.
do, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, let's try. Start. No. Let's go. Available. Let's hit him. And I wonder if he's part of it. Okay, so he works. No, he's part of the one that works here.
Do not disturb? Oh.
No, let's just leave it there. Okay. No, let's not do that. Okay. How about if we go like this? Hey, aren't you nice? Okay. No. I'm gonna let you do that.
I have the link in my email, so I can open the Zoom link because I'm not sure what the rule is. Okay.
Well, I'm going to put a plug in while I'm waiting for somebody else that I met here at the Electronic Village a while ago. And her name is Chen. Marcia, if you are listening, her husband just came up and gave me a number of cards. And Chen is probably one of the best presenters here in the Electronic Village. She also has created a company, which is really quite a maverick idea. And she does some great videos on pronunciation. So we can't get the Zoom session up yet, but while we're waiting, if you'd like this, this is Sunburst Media, Marcia Chen. She'll probably be giving me a cut on whatever it is she has, if anybody is interested in pronunciation. What she does is she takes the actual formation and ways of presenting. So, and if you can get to one of her sessions, I think we are up. So look, you got one, okay? No? Yeah? Yes? Yes, and they're all gone. I think she's booth, it says that there are three, but I think we're ready for a session.
I'm not sure if we should, if the audio should be through.
I don't know, let's just try. Yeah, let's just try. This isn't no.
Hello.
Here's Nellie. These are the different presenters.
Okay, good. So,
Okay, we're all here, I guess. Mahat?
Nellie?
Hi, Nellie. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Should I keep the YouTube the YouTube channel open, or is it echoing? Yeah, I see there's
Yeah, we can see you. Should I share video?
Hi, Nellie. Welcome. There's a YouTube video channel open that is streaming all this, so we'll send you the link if you wish through an email. Vance will do this, but right now you're right in the middle of the Electronic Village Technology Showcase, so if you'd like to begin.
okay. I heard a delay, so I logged out of YouTube because I don't hear anything. Logged out of YouTube. Okay, I'll just mute my mic for now.
Vance. One of Vance is in the Electronic Village. If you want to say he's up. Yeah, that's it.
You will go?
So you can hear it here. So you know that. Hello, Nellie.
I can hear you.
So if you want to begin, we can hear you if you'd like to begin your presentation.
But I think there are other people before me. The first. The schedule.
Here he
is,
comes.
let me share the
The
schedule.
man.
with you
He's going to
guys.
save us all. Here's Vance. Vance has just arrived.
Okay, great, because Vance
Cool
has
as a
the,
cucumber.
Good. Hi, Vance.
Hi, Nellie. Is she
I
still
don't
there?
see you, but I hear you.
Yeah, we having sound problems? Ah.
I didn't hear the claps. I'm clapping.
Thank you, Nellie. Do you want to sort out your sound, or do you want to talk? Oh, good people are here in Zoom. That's wonderful. This is Maha Hassan. We have, I presume we've introduced the session. We have a handout. Maybe, can someone give out the handout?
Well, I know Maha's before me, so I know I'm after Maha.
It's not the,
I can take
it's
a look at it
the
and tell
bottom
you.
one.
I hope you're not hearing a lot of noise like I am. But it says that Carrie is
I
it
think
first.
probably
Carrie Terry is
Jane
first.
Chen and I are going to talk about the Minecraft, but I'm not sure how did this get here. Can we? Did Diana and they left? Oh, okay, okay. So, let's mute this. We're going to mute the Zoom, and Jane and I are going to give our part of the presentation. That'll give us 15 minutes or 10 minutes. We'll take 10 minutes, and then we'll come back to you in the Zoom chat. Okay, let's see. I need just to put our materials on the screen. There we go. This is, we got Call IS open already. Call SP works, that's it. This is the handout we're showing you is the handout that we're giving out is this one, Best of EVO, and this is the handout exactly. So there's a QR code here on the handout. If you go to that QR code, then you can come to the handout for the entire session. So let me bring that up. So the QR code brings you here. Let me make that big. Okay, so this is the program for the session, and right now we are in the Minecraft, EVO Minecraft MOOC part. I'm a moderator and coordinator of EVO Minecraft MOOC, and this is Jane Chen. She's another moderator. We've just been giving a session on Minecraft. That's where we were. We were double booked for it. So let's see. We're the last of the the on-site presentations, and this is the handout that if you go to the QR code, well, you come to the handout for the entire presentation, but there's a link in there to what we're going to talk about right now. So this is the EVO Minecraft MOOC world. You already know what EVO is. EVO Minecraft MOOC is one of the sessions in the EVO sessions. And we put it on so that we could learn ourselves about Minecraft. Minecraft was invented in 2009. I heard about it in the context of education, probably in podcasts around 2011. I was very interested but I couldn't find an entry into learning how I could experience Minecraft. So it took me a few years. Well, I've been moderating EVO sessions. So my first one was in 2002. I've moderated several since then. And so I decided the best way to learn something is to moderate an EVO session, believe it or not. So that actually worked. I started EVO Minecraft MOOC. I attracted some other people to it, people who knew a lot more than I did, who could actually teach me. We formed a community. And here we have some links to some of these community spaces. Here are some of the spaces. This is a handout. Let's see, the expanded handout. That one right there. This is what we've just been doing in, as you can see from that QR code, you can reach all these links. So this is what we were just talking about, demonstrating in the technology fair. And so you can find publications, presentations we've given and recorded, publications about what we do. Let's see, this one tells you where you can go to get our session documents. This is a map of the world which we inhabit. The map is made dynamically. So this is the world we move around in. And what we're trying to do is learn about gamification and why you would want to gamify your own learning environments. So it's hard to understand gamification and also the participatory cultures around video games that your students are interested in. And I mean, most of my students, anything on video, you know, they just lap it up. But if it's not in that format, they're a little skeptical about it. But of course, we guide them to learning and we use video as a reward sometimes. But if you can somehow work out how to integrate a game like Minecraft, which is intrinsically interesting, into your community, then into what you do, then what we're learning is what that feels like. So when we go to Minecraft ourselves as teachers and learn from each other how to play the game and therefore understand how we can use it with students, because before you understand that, it's going to be very difficult for you. But you do have another option. You can throw it into your class and let your students teach you, which is actually a good way to do it as well, another approach. But I found it very effective. We found it very effective. Jane joined us 2 years ago. She joined us 2 years ago. She didn't know how to play Minecraft. Her son taught her because she brought her son in with us. Then she became a moderator. Tell us more about this.
Hi, my name is Jane. My son's name is Maddie, and he's 9 years old. I am from Taiwan, and my background is teacher training. My students, when they graduate, they're elementary school English teachers. And the way I see it, in Taiwan, in-class English lessons are only 80 minutes per week. But because of his love for Minecraft, he's hooked. And the concept of flipped classroom, he's doing it all by himself. He's gone online to YouTubers and look at Minecraft, how others people play, how others people build robots, walking robots in Minecraft, and he's learned so much from the YouTube videos. And so we're lucky enough to be able to participate in the Minecraft MOOC, and he got into our community, and we have our Google Plus, and he's even got his own account and posting whatever he learns from our interaction online. I think the key point here is that Minecraft is, how many, your students would love gaming, right? Yes, it would. And do they love to learn languages? They would, and combine them together. It's a very powerful platform where learners can interact via in-world on Minecraft. And the reason I'm saying this is because in Taiwan, Maddie is learning English by teachers introducing vocabulary and sentence patterns and having him repeat that sentence pattern. And everything is like teacher-centered. And yes, we can design learner-centered, classes, but it's more like teacher-driven. But in Minecraft, everything is like he's intrinsic motivation to learn the language because everything is in English. YouTubers are talking in English, and he said, I was asking him, can you record Minecraft in Chinese? And he said, no. What's the point of recording in Chinese when a lot of more YouTubers are speaking English? And he gets the point why he needs to learn English. And I've analyzed YouTube video online, YouTubers' video on their transcripts and into corpus, and a 30-minute video, for a 30-minute video, 90% of the vocabulary used is the top 1,000 words. So he's picking up a lot of vocabulary by learning to play Minecraft. And also, in terms of vocabulary learning, in Taiwan and Asia, vocabulary lessons are grouped with semantic sets, meaning they learn colors together, numbers together, they, with audiolingual method, repeating and filling in the vocabulary in the slot. But through Minecraft, it's more like thematic sets of vocabulary, because when you need to build a bed, you need wool. Where do you get wool? From the sheep. And you need wood planks. And you learn all those vocabulary just by playing like in thematic sets, and you would remember that better. So also for Minecraft, it's very learner-centered. It's player-driven. It's not like a preset of curriculum where yes, you could design an information graph in Minecraft, but you would find that players, if the learners set out to want to do something, for example, explore an ocean monument, he would learn more. And so everything is more learner-focused, learner-centered. And that's what we find Minecraft fascinating for language learning.
Yeah, and one link that I went to, let's see if I can, well, anyway, I'll just start back from here. I went to our Google Plus community, because this is where I was just bringing up when she was talking about vocabulary. If you go to our community, her post happens to be at the very top of it right now. Where did it go? Google Community, that one right there, yeah. Okay. So this is where everybody posts what they're doing with Minecraft, and Jane's work in vocabulary is there, but you can just scroll through here and see a lot more of the things that people are doing, participating, for example, in virtual worlds communities, other online spaces. We're interacting with other teachers. We've been doing this for 4 years now. We're just finished our 4th EVO session. Anyone is welcome to join us. You have in that QR code, you have the link that takes you here to the part of the program we're in now, which we're, I guess, going to try to get through quickly, because we want to bring the other moderators in from online. And Jonah would probably be very useful in helping us get Zoom working with their voice. They're having some voice problems with that. But anyway, you can come in a minute. I'm just going to wrap this up. But basically, this QR code that you have a handout. We've passed out a handout. I'm sure we have plenty. So if you have that QR code here, you can go to this document, which explains what you've heard so far. People have left their links there. We have all these materials about EVO Minecraft MOOC. So best, if you're interested, that you explore this site. But I just would like to emphasize that you can join us if you want. If you go to join our Google Plus community, there's a form we asked you to fill out, just so you can establish your credential as an academic, someone besides a gamer who might want to grief our community. So if we accept your credential, then we would whitelist you on our server, and you would be welcome to play with us. So I'm going to, I suppose, move over to the online portion of the program so we can try to keep on time. We had one presenter drop out, so the presenters who are in the Zoom Hangout, the Zoom chat right now, they are waiting to talk to us. The presenters, let's see, it's best if I go to the table of contents, I can tell you who they are. You have this on our handout. Uh-oh, I just did a left click. How can I get rid of that? There it is. Thank you. Oh, there we go. Okay. So we're going to hear from Carrie Terry first about teaching pronunciation differently. And Maha Hassan, did you explain all this to them? Yes, okay. So we're going to hear from these people. They're each going to talk to us for 10 minutes about their session. One of them is about Are You a Fair Tester? Maha Hassan and Nellie Deutsch talking about teaching as a way to learn. Daniela Martino teaching vocabulary, teaching listening principles. And Mubarak Akader talking about some of the online tools we use in EVO. Two of these people are past moderators of, past lead coordinators of Electronic Village Online. Mubarak Al-Qadir was lead coordinator for, I think, maybe 3 years before Nellie took over this last year. Oh no, that was Mubarak's 3rd year. Okay, so anyway, so they're going to explain more about what they do in Electronic Village Online. Jonah, could we get you to help us with the Zoom, especially we were having voice problems? So
it should be all set.
It is working.
Yeah, so just click on it.
Yeah. It's just that we were having a little bit. Okay, so there's Carrie. I think Carrie is ready now. I don't know what happens if she. Okay.
So Carrie is going to speak, and yeah, so we should be able to hear her fine.
Okay. Carrie, are you there? And yeah.
I'm here. I'm here and I'm ready to go. Yeah.
Sorry, I muted everything earlier. Is this volume adequate for the audience?
Yeah.
It's okay. Good. Must be just me. Well, let me turn the speakers this way then. Okay. So Carrie, tell us more about your session.
Okay, I'm just going to try and share my screen. I hope this is going to work. Can you see that? Yet? Can everybody see the first screen?
No, we can't. Are you sharing?
I am.
Okay.
Oh, hang on. Maybe not.
Oh, here we go. We got it. Yes. Well done.
Yeah? Cool. Okay, so everybody can see a slide that says teaching pronunciation differently. Yeah? Nellie's nodding. Other people are peering. Oh yeah, someone else is
Yes,
nodding.
we
Okay,
see
that
that slide. Thank you, Carrie.
Okay, so let me dive straight in then. Please interject at any point. So this is the 4th year of teaching pronunciation differently, or TPD as I'll refer to it. There's been modifications each time. I'm no stranger to it. I did it in years 2 and 3, which were 2016 and 2017 as a participant, and completed the sessions in those years. Became known to doctors Missam and Young, Piers and Roz, and they invited me to participate as a moderator this year, which I was very flattered and happy to do. So what is TPD? TPD is a radical departure from the traditional, or shall we say conventional, approach to teaching pronunciation, which we will call listen and repeat. I think that's pretty much what it's known as, where the teacher models the sound, the students repeat what they hear. In TPD, we show students how to make the correct physical movements to successfully pronounce English through a process of discovery and experimentation, with the teacher acting as coach rather than as model. And I would say that TPD fills a gap in 2 senses. Firstly, pronunciation is often called the Cinderella of EFL, and many teachers feel ill-equipped to teach it and lack the underlying understanding of the mechanisms involved. And secondly, and linked to this, there's a real dearth of information and advice in the field. In textbook terms, I'd say that the field hasn't really moved on in terms of either teaching or learning methodologies. And if you pick up a random EFL textbook, it's still likely to be mostly listen and repeat. So if I move on to the next screen, which I am not able to do, oh yes I am, you will see the home page of this year's session and how it looked on Schoology, which was the free LMS, learning management system that we used this year, which was selected on the basis that it was free and it incorporated all the features that we required, allowing participants to access a range of materials asynchronously, to exchange ideas, to ask the moderators questions, comment on anything and everything. And we also built in a number of quizzes and badge quizzes, the latter of which had to be correctly completed to obtain a final attendance certificate. Slide 3 shows the typical introduction for a week. This week is week 3, articulatory settings. And typically includes a short video, this time an excerpt from My Fair Lady, a PDF to read, and an opportunity to contribute to the conversation. And below this, we see slide 4, week 2's multiple choice badge quiz with some very simple questions based on the previous week's materials. So what sort of numbers did we have on the session this year? Well, as you can see, we had around 617 registered on the session, 84 of which did no more than that. A further 139 of the totals spent less than an hour on the session, didn't write an introduction. 40 people wrote an introduction and posted once, but spent less than 30 minutes on the session. So this left us 57% of that total, 354 people who actively started the course. Okay, so let's look at the levels of activity in terms of comments or posts. 317 participants wrote something. The majority, 114, wrote up to 5 posts, excluding the introduction. Most people wrote an introduction, and that's how we know, as you'll see later on, where people came from, because they mostly told us in their introduction which country of origin, which was their country of origin. 57 people posted between 6 and 10 times, and you can see from the graph here pretty much how it went. 9 people posted between 51 and 100 times, and 5 actually posted on more than 100 occasions. We also complemented the communication between participants and moderators, and also peer-to-peer, by holding weekly live meetings, live 1-hour meetings with 2 slots every week on weeks 2, 3, 4, and 5. Once a week at midday GMT on a Wednesday and at 6 o'clock GMT on a Thursday, using the GoToMeeting platform. And this was an opportunity for people to address their questions directly to the moderators and share any thoughts and queries they had on the preceding week's work. And you can see from the figures here that it was a fairly popular option, and people took after week. So our 617 registrations find out about us. Well, this year we did a lot of work on social media in comparison to other years, and as you can see from this graph, we found out the information because we asked people to do a short survey in week 3, which 150 people completed. LinkedIn brought in 26% of our participants. Personal recommendations second at just over 25%, and Facebook or Twitter at 19%. And then you can see the others were pretty equally distributed after that between other methods of finding out about it, returning from previous years through a conference presentation through EVO publicity, which was 8.4%, or through IATEFL Associates. I mentioned before we had a vast range of country of origin for our participants. So the nationalities, we knew of 182 students' nationalities because they told us in the introduction. The largest number came from the US, followed by Russia, UK and Brazil. Next was France, Egypt, Australia, Ukraine and Greece, which were all about level with around 10 students, closely followed by Turkey, and the remaining 112 came from just about every other country in the world that you can imagine. The EVO final participant survey, we had 44 of our respondents complete that, of which 33 were very satisfied, 12 satisfied, and we scored 0 in the dissatisfied or very dissatisfied category. Another couple of key facts: well over 4,000 posts on Schoology's site, excluding the introductions. That does include, however, moderator comments. And this year we issued 64 certificates to respondents who completed the badge quiz with 100% scores and posted at least one comment a week. So here's an example of a certificate of participation, which were very highly sought after, very popular. So we were fielding lots of applications for those towards the end of the session. I've included here a couple of slides of feedback. We got lots and lots and lots of feedback, and I'm not going to read them all. You can have a quick peruse here as I flick through, but I thought I'd just read one on the second page because it kind of pretty much includes, you know, the level of comment we had. We had some amazing feedback. People found the session to be enlightening and informative, also inspirational, entertaining, and perhaps most importantly of immediate and practical help. So I'm just going to read Evelyn Kulikova's comment because it sort of does epitomize everything really. She said, "I am overwhelmed by the professionalism of our moderators, always ready to answer any questions and provide us with all necessary materials, advice and support. I feel like shouting to every single teacher of English who hasn't taken this course, hello, here are the people who can give you all you need to start off teaching pronunciation the right way. They are like gold for professional and personal development. I'm so grateful that I was given the opportunity to get a free course over 5 weeks so that it was reasonable to combine with my job and my family. A million thanks to all the people who made this happen." So just to finish off, what has TPD done for me? Well, I've benefited from participating both as a student and as a moderator, and I've acquired new skills and enhanced existing ones. To just start with the role of CPD, well, these days, particularly in my case, there's precious little of it about and virtually no funding. Despite this, most of us want to upgrade and develop our knowledge and expertise. And some of us even have to demonstrate that we're doing this as part of our job remit. I certainly have to. So this has been a wonderful opportunity for me to comply with my CPD obligations. Knowledge exchange, it's an opportunity not only to learn but to share ideas between moderators and participants, peer-to-peer, students and both ways, moderators and participants, because you learn from your students, and I've learned from my fellow moderators enormously as well. I've learned how to evaluate new hosting platforms and webinar software. We did a lot of work comparing what was available for free on the market, as it were, before opting for Schoology. I've had to become very adept with using Schoology, with presenting and hosting webinars, because the live meetings were done on a webinar platform. You know, my ability to teamwork has been enhanced. We had weekly moderator Skype meetings. where, as Roz and I discussed what we need to do, shared out responsibilities, etc. We all wrote new materials, and I made my first video presentation, wrote my own script, etc. So that was all very challenging, learning new skills there. I had to learn how to manage the metrics from Schoology to find out what was actually on statistical data, and not least for this presentation. So as two philosopher Joseph Schubert, and which goes several ways. Teaching is also a learning experience, and this has been a fantastic opportunity and context in which to do this. Also in a truly international environment, I don't think our session could have attracted more of a diverse range of culture, background and experience. And all in all, just a very enriching process and experience for me, both as a participant and as a moderator.
Thank you very much. Are you about done?
I hope everybody heard that and could see the slides, and I'd be very happy to take any questions. I kind of ripped through it because I didn't want to be cut short time-wise.
If we have time, we could maybe, or I don't know, does anybody have, say, one question? We have to move on to the program. Any questions about this? I think you gave a good typical overview of an EVO session. That's what, if you join EVO, that's you would expect to probably respond in that way. So I thought was a very good indication of what people would experience when they come to EVO. Okay, can we move on to Maha? Is Maha ready?
I'm here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm here.
Thank you, Carrie.
Shall I start sharing my screen with you?
Yep, it's coming in just fine. Are you able to share your do you have slides to show us?
Yeah.
By the way, if you'll wait, let's see. I can find all these slides that Carrie just showed us are at the URL. All these materials are at this URL. Yes, go ahead, Maha. We're ready for you.
Yeah, I'm trying to share the screen. Yes.
Yes, it's coming.
Yeah.
I think.
Sure. Just a second.
What's going on here? Oh, that's her screen. What's going on with the... Yes, we can see your desktop. It's coming out very well.
Yeah, okay. That's great. Yeah. Yeah. Can you see that?
Are you a fair tester? Maha Hassan.
Yeah, can you see that? Yeah. Yes. Can you see that?
Yes, we can.
Yeah.
And we can hear you.
Okay, that's great. Shall I go ahead?
Yes. Keep an eye on the time. You could have till 11:35 or 11:40. So
okay, that's
between
great.
there.
Okay. So, hello everybody. I'm Hassan from... Yeah. There is a lag in the voice. Yeah. Yeah. So shall I go ahead?
Maha, you might want to leave the YouTube platform.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Because it's causing the delay for you.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Okay, so I'm here.
So, did you ask something?
Can you see my screen now?
Yes, we see chat wing.
Oh, so can you see this?
Now we see the PowerPoint.
Yeah, okay, so I will start. Okay, shall I start?
Yes, please do.
Okay. Okay. Hello, everybody. It's great to be here with EVO. It has been a great experience joining them for 2 successive years. I would like to start by thanking Van Stevens, Nelly Deutsch, and all the group of people, Muqaddar also, and everybody who has been responsible for EVO and for being so helpful and cooperative during the last these 2 years. I have given 2 sessions, one this year, which is Are You a Fair Tester? And the second one, which is a DIY online assessment last year. Both of them had about 60 to 70 participants, and they were so interactive with us, especially during the sessions. I would like to speak with you today in details about Are You a Fair Tester? Because this is the last one, the recent one that I've just finished for 5 weeks. This is the logo for the presentation or the course itself. We started with the teachers on the very first week, asking them to analyze different kinds of tests and different kinds of exercises that we've given them, and try to understand why are they using these and how they are using them to help teachers to put fair tests in order to be as fair as possible to our students, and at the same time use them as assessment tools. We have used, as you can see in the first slide, grammar sheets, exercises. Second one, we had a comprehension with different kinds of questions, and we discussed them, why these questions are used, how are they set, in which rank or in which order should they be set, which comes before which. We use different kinds of comprehensions with different exercises until we got to the perfect one. We gave them during the first week, this is another comprehension with questions as well, different kinds of questions. So we posed the important questions to the teachers while discussing this during the first week. Why are you giving an exam to students? What do you want to assess? And how do you decide what to test and how to test it? Through these different examples, we had one webinar on the very first week. We discussed the topic, we discussed the idea. We helped the teachers how to analyze the exams, how to analyze the questions, and decide what points they would like to test their students about. And then we asked them to do some kind of assignment on by making 2 different tests following the same rules that we have discussed about assessing exams. We asked them to put important points in mind, like, for example, don't overdo standards, check the time limit, which is always causing problems with exams, and how to put the different kinds of questions, how to reduce emphasis on memory, and if they are covering all the learning outcomes. And then we moved on to what kind of criteria, marking criteria, should the students do. So we, on the second week, we had another webinar with the teachers where we discussed this idea of marking. Why is it necessary for the students to know, and what kind of criteria should be given to the students to know how the teachers are going to evaluate their own work. So we started discussing the idea of rubrics, and we asked them, we proposed for them different points concerning the marking scheme. We spoke about the penalizing the mistake ones. We spoke about reviewing the exam before, after even the difficult or unusual problems expected, and to make notes on the exam results in general. And then we introduced a number of rubrics. We introduced the rubrics, for example, that could be used for a story. And this story, is it going to be a written one or a presented one? And about the different points that should be evaluated by the teacher. We also proposed here another one rubric for an essay writing. We then introduced another one for oral exams, which usually cause lots of problems, and we were lucky enough to introduce this kind of rubric in collaboration with Bloom's taxonomy. Another one, also it's a general one, how we can give the students a kind of general feedback about their work. We can do it in numbers, we can do it by grades, good, fair, test, good, fair, very good, excellent, and so on. And then we can give just one sentence following the TOEFL and the IELTS exams, that in case you are going to get a 4, which is very good, this means that you are strong, but with numerous minor weaknesses, and so on and so on. After that, we asked the teachers to do different kinds of rubrics, and surprisingly, they introduced to us wonderful rubrics unexpectedly, because they said that we were really thinking about this point, but we were intimidated to go ahead with it because we were not sure that we are going to do it correctly. So it was a pleasure for me that the teachers broke this idea of being afraid of making rubrics and evaluating students and trying to look at the whole idea from a different point of view. Also here we proposed some kind of marking scheme for the teachers to help them, especially if they have large classes, that they can make a schedule like this with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, having 1 as the least, for example, and 5 is the highest, and they put the items that they are going to evaluate the students about. And they put the marks for them so that the students can get back and check their own problems and mistakes, and then get back to the teacher to see if they have improved or not. Again, we asked the teacher to do something similar. We then discussed with them on the 3rd week how to use the exam questions as assessment exercises, which was a key point in the whole course. Because we wanted the teachers to keep in mind that assessment is a process, it's not a product. The exam is, we use it as a kind of tool through the process to help the students to finally be able to speak, listen better, speak, read, and write. So assessment is just a process, it's not a product. And we went through the different kinds of analysis of the different exercises that we had in the exams we had, how to help the teachers to look at the exams as an assessment, not just as a tool, as a summative assessment for the students all the time. And then after that, we asked the teacher, we attracted the attention of the teachers to a number of important points: how to support failure students, especially if they lose confidence in themselves, or there is a problem and they don't understand where the problem is, and how we can help the students overcome this. And then we gave this final point: assessment is a process, it's not a product. Test is a product. Diagnosis is the final conclusion. In other words, both the product and the conclusion are included inside the assessment. So whenever we give an exam, even if the exam is a monthly exam or a term exam, it has to be a kind of assessment to help us as teachers to improve our work on the long run. Finally, we introduced 2 or 4 items of online that can be used by teachers for short quizzes: Quizalize, Quizlets, Creative, and Kahoot. Creative and Kahoot were discussed last year in details. And we even went online with the teachers and tried them personally. We introduced also Quizalize and Quizlet. We gave them slides, we explained to them, and then we asked them to go online and have their own accounts and do the quizzes themselves and give us the link so that we can get in and check it and work it out with them. It was very interesting because the teachers were so enthusiastic about this that they really went and very quickly gave us the links back to check their work. It was so interesting, and I was so happy about the feedback of one of the teachers when she told me, "You really helped me to change my outlook to assessment and exams in general." And but when I tried them in person alone, and then I tried to get on in class, I started feeling more confident, and started thinking, even if I don't have internet in class, I can ask my students to go home and do something online, and I can get the feedback quite quickly, which is one of the interesting things about Quizlet and Quizalize and Creative and Kahoot, that you can get all the feedback through the same app, which is really interesting. Here I have a number of references if you are interested in. And finally, I would like to thank you and thank all EBO team for being so helpful, especially Vince and Dr. Nelly, which has been always helpful all the time whenever we ask her about anything. Thank you very much, and it was a pleasure to talk to you. And these are my contacts if you are interested in joining us on our ESL community. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Maha. Nelly is going to be next. Meanwhile, if anybody has a question, maybe we could take one. Does anybody have a question about this course? Maha explained it beautifully. I think I learned many aspects of testing myself just from watching this presentation.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. All right, well, next up is Nelly
I
Deutsch.
just want to say, that I can't screen share until Maha stops screen sharing.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. That's okay.
I'm trying to get on.
I know.
Yes. Am I out now?
No. You need to unscreen. No, you have to
unshare your screen.
You're still screen sharing.
Yeah, Mama, I did that. Yes. Yeah.
This is all being conducted like an Electronic Village Online session. You know, we're used to interacting with each other remotely.
Yeah. Okay, so let me go to...
Okay, we can see Nelly's screen.
Okay,
learning by teaching. Mm-hmm. And we can hear you. Can you hear okay? Yes? Okay. All right.
So let me get started. First of all, EVO is the highlight of the year for me, and I've been saying this since 2006 because it is. This year I had the pleasure of coordinating the team of EVO 18, and I want to thank Mubarak, who's here today, online, virtually, for making it happen, because if you hadn't asked me, I would never have volunteered for this amazing work. All right, so a little bit about me. You can read about it. I've been teaching English to speakers of other languages for the past 42 years, from K-12, from junior high to university, and trying to add technology. Somebody has their mic open, I think, so there's a lot of background noise. I don't know. Maybe Maha?
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay, sorry about my sensitive ears.
Oh no, I'm sorry. I'll just close it.
Yeah, mute. All right. So the platforms that I've been using for EVO for the past, I guess, 6-7 years is WizIQ, which is a synchronous platform, and Moodle. Now, the reason I've been using Moodle is because I find that Moodle allows the participants to communicate and learn together. I got the idea from a French-German teacher, foreign language teacher, who, Jean-Paul Martin, who happened to contact me last week after all these years, and he let me know that he added my work to Wikipedia next to his name, so I'm kind of grateful for that. And he connected on Facebook, so that just shows you how the internet really does bring us together. Maybe next year he'll join EVO, hopefully. The way you learn by teaching is the way we do it. Most teachers are great learners because they need to know their material and they need to engage their students by teaching and through teaching. What happened on the Moodle is that my goal was to get my the participants to be as active as they could be. I've had over 2,000 participants on EVO sessions, specifically Moodle for Teachers, and it kind of bothered me that you know, they came in, they introduced themselves, and then when it came to actually creating the courses at the end of the session in weeks 4 and 5, they kind of disappeared. So what I decided to do is to get them to document the process as they learned. So what they do is they create video tutorials using Screencast-O-Matic and Poodle, which is on the Moodle, and I'll be talking about that in a minute. So Moodle for Teachers began in 2012, so it's been a nice journey these past 6 years. The idea behind Moodle, of course, is to get participants to collaborate and create a course at the end of the session. The second EVO session that I've been involved in started in 2014, and that's teaching EFL to young learners. And the reason I do both of these, and will continue hopefully to do both of them, is because I get a variety of teachers, participants in the two sessions, and I like the feel of the two. What we do is we quickly get the participants to create video tutorials. Now, I'm always amazed at the fact that they do this so willingly. Video tutorials and the right, so to speak, of teaching others seems to appeal to teachers. They prefer to teach than what they think learn, but actually, as I said, they're learning as they're teaching. But the idea of peer teaching through video tutorials seems to really appeal to them. So it's working, and I highly recommend it for other sessions to get teachers to be active and not to leave after the introductory week. Another way, as I mentioned before, is Poodle. Now, Poodle is simply a gadget that's on the editor. This is an editor, and you can see it on the right here. There's a microphone, a video. You can also share an image and collaborate with others, and you can also get your profile image up there, or any other profile where you happen to be. The man who created this was actually an English language teacher. He's no longer doing that. Living in Japan. He's originally from New Zealand, and that's Justin Hunt. So he knows about language teaching, and he knew that this would be something that teachers can use as well as students. So teachers can present whatever they're doing and introduce the weeks and the topics, and students can also be involved in teaching. And the idea, of course, is not only to get teachers to teach as a way to learn, but to get our students to be doing the teaching, which is what Jean-Paul had in mind when he started learning from teaching, or learning through teaching. So this is how it's done. There's my image. So the idea behind Poodle, of course, is to create a video. You can also have a selfie, which is very popular with learners these days. Get your audio in there, and of course drawings, and all this from the editor. So again, there's the video at the top, and there's the audio right next to it. Another way that the editor helps out is that it allows us to bring everything into the Moodle from other places. So this is really engaging too. So you can bring whatever you've done on Dropbox, YouTube, you can upload videos, you can get your Google Drive, everything right into Moodle and your course through the editor. The moderators of this year's EVO, we had over 700 participants. We started out with 2 moderators because I thought that I would have less than 100, but I was surprised. So it was very easy to get others to join us. So Harshita Kapoor and Zoriana Diak came from India and Ukraine. Rosemary Rivera is from Bolivia, and I was also part of it. The overview of Moodle for Teachers EVO was first of all for the participants to learn how to use Screencast-O-Matic. And by the way, Screencast-O-Matic is completely free, unless you want to get the pro version. They create video tutorials of whatever they do. In other words, whatever they're learning, whatever they're seeing on the screen, they share with each other. So there's a lot of learning and peer teaching involved. They learn about the layout and how to navigate as students, and then with the rights of teachers and managers, they get a special right to be able to edit a course. So they're in a course, a demo course, and they learn to manipulate whatever is there, the resources and activities, as teachers, and then later on as managers. They use the system later on when they design a collaborative course. They each get individual sections, and then they peer teach. What's wonderful about Moodle is that it has a teaming up process where you can start a team and others can join you. You can leave a team and join. We started doing this in weeks 2 to 4, so they had plenty of time to team up, get to know one another. The idea was for them not to leave. I didn't want to bring statistics where, you know, they stay for the first week and then they leave. So I wanted them to stay, to get the most out of the collaboration and course building at the end of the EVO session. So they teamed up from the beginning. They got to know one another. They felt closer. They built communities, as happens in each of these EVO sessions. So they developed a syllabus. Of course, they used Google Docs for this together. They came up with learning objectives. I shared a template to make it easier for them, of course. And then they chose their individual topic sections as a team. This is a little bit of showcase and reflect at the end. The link is available, so I think you can get it. Maybe Vance can help out. I'm going to try to make this as brief as I can, not to go over time, to allow others to speak. So this was done on Padlet. I also added Padlet to the Moodle. You can do this. Padlet is what's called an LTI, which means that you can add the Padlet and they can see it directly from the Moodle, even though they were adding things on the Padlet. If you're not familiar with Padlet, it's a great tool. You might want to look it up. For sharing, I use it with my classes because right now I teach in a junior high. Even in junior high, I get my students to teach one another as a way to learn. So you can see some of their comments. They were very, very appreciative. They felt that they had built a community and they didn't want it to end. They wanted to go on, and I was exhausted, but they wanted to go on because they felt that they wanted more, which is why I created a community, where an EVO community on Google so that we can continue. A little bit about teaching EFL to young learners. As I said, I wanted to have different kind of participants, and since I teach young learners, I felt that, as Vance has said, we learn when we teach, we learn when we take up roles. So this is my way of learning. The moderators, we had one moderator for each week. I did the first week. The second week I did with Judy Wong for the United States. Cheryl McCoy did it together with Nevis in week 3. Charles Goodger did the week in week 4, and Julie Pratton, who couldn't be here today, did it in week 5, in week 4 and 5, of course. The idea, again, they learned the same thing to create Screencast-O-Matic. They had to do stuff, and they had to demonstrate what they were doing. So if they were telling a story, they had to do it through video, and they had to document the process of creating it. So it's not just doing it, it's the process that's important. So the first week was, of course, to learn the layout. The second week was storytelling and drama with myself and Judy. Board games, they had to create board games, and then they had to document the process of how they created it. It was led by Nevis Teresi from Italy, originally from Australia, and Cheryl from the United States. Action songs was Charles Goodger, living in Italy. He's also an entertainer, a songwriter, and an amazing human being who is a very busy teacher. He teaches at university, but he came for action songs because that's wonderful for young learners. Lower Resource Classroom with Julie Pratton was very, very important. Here they had to create actually material, all kinds of material for the classroom, and they had to again document the process of how they created it through video, and all this was showcased and reflected again on Padlet, and you can see some of their comments. This has been one of the most wonderful experiences in my short life as a teacher, and I can't be enough thankful to all of you, the moderators and participants, and you can read, and so on. You know, that's what EVO is about. EVO is about building communities and building your PLN, getting to know more and more people around the globe, which can't happen if you're only in your local school, unless you have time to travel around the world, which most of us don't. So the idea is, of course, for learners to present, for the participant to present and learn by teaching each other and share whatever they learn publicly. And nobody said anything about, you know, what about privacy? Everybody wanted to share. Now, sharing within the EVO session and sharing with the world, which is heartwarming. There were weekly digital badges, and you're not going to believe this, there was also a final certificate, but the participants preferred the weekly badges. They stayed up nights. One of the co-leaders of the EVO team, Natasha, said that she found it addictive. In other words, the digital badges and staying up nights, they never imagined that they would be so involved in getting the digital badges. They had to get them. And there were, of course, 5 digital badges. The final certificate, everyone had, but it wasn't as wonderful as the badges. I don't know what happened here, but as I said, Screencast-O-Matic made it happen. Being able to use this tool has been amazing. They were able to share their videos on YouTube and Vimeo directly from Screencast-O-Matic. I'm so happy with Screencast-O-Matic that they're happy with me too, apparently, because they provided me with a lifetime account where I can actually bring Screencast-O-Matic as an LTI to Moodle. So now Screencast-O-Matic is directly on the Moodle. So in our next EVO session, participants will be able to use it from the Moodle. So I'm really excited about that and can't wait to see how it works. The references, learning by teaching, there's quite a bit of literature on it. And you're invited to take a look at the PowerPoint. I hope you'll get a chance to see it. It's on under my account on SlideShare. So Nellie Deutsch, or Dr. Nellie Deutsch on SlideShare. You can also find me if you Google my name, and you're welcome to connect, because that's what it's all about. Connecting for learning and learning together, as Vance so rightly says. So let me try to get out of this and stop screen sharing to let the next person do it, which isn't as easy as I thought. So let me see if I can get
Thank you, Nellie.
here. Yeah, okay, I stopped screen sharing. There
Nellie
we go.
Deutsch about teaching as a way to learn, which is...
Yes, I didn't want to plagiarize and use Jean-Paul's learning, teaching by learning, or learning through teaching. So yes, teaching is a way to learn.
Does anybody have any question you would like to ask? We could take maybe one if you're interested. No one has taken our bait yet, but she explained it so well. Yeah, so I think especially in the online environment, it's a really good environment, or any blended learning environment is a good environment for breaking down how you teach in order to project it, because it's, you know, unlike face-to-face where you can have a lot of flexibility, online you have to be very exact in how you present things and think it through in advance. Yeah?
Thank you, Vance.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. So Daniela Martino is our next speaker. Is she there in the Zoom? Yes, she's there. Okay, and she's unmuted. That's a good sign. Okay, and you can start sharing your screen. And she's going to talk to us about teaching listening, principles, techniques, and technologies. And it's just gone the top of the hour. We have 2 more presentations. Julie Ketchmaz is not going, Julie Pratton, I believe you called her, is not going to appear today. So we have Daniela for 10 minutes and then Mubarak for the last 10 minutes. Okay?
Okay, Will. Good morning to you all there. Good afternoon from here from Argentina. Well, I would also like to thank Vance for this opportunity to talk to you all today. I'm going to talk about this course, Teaching Listening, Principles, Techniques and Technologies. I'm going to talk on behalf of all the members of the Moderator team that you can see on the screen. I was a participant in 2017 and I was offered to be part of the 2018 Moderator team, and it has been really an honor to be there. Now, first, I'll give you a quick overview of the course. So, main objectives of the course involve revisiting frameworks for listening lessons and analyzing the principles that guide the choice of listening tasks, to help teachers create materials aimed to scaffold out listening, increasing their repertoire of listening activities, including activities that make use of technology, to foster the analysis of what proficient listeners do and what implications it has for teaching listening, to share online tools, resources and websites that can be used to address
Daniela,
common listening.
can I interrupt for a minute?
Yeah.
Can you lean more into the mic and see if you can speak a little louder, or?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay, thanks.
Let's see if that.
Oh, that's better. Thumbs up all around. Okay.
Is that any better?
Yes, that's fine. Thank you.
All right. So I was talking about the objectives. So I was talking about sharing online tools, resources, websites that can be used to address common listening problems, and that are useful in a number of contexts, and to engage in discussions, share tips, teaching listening with and without technology. Every week, participants were exposed to one live session that was recorded to make up for time differences mainly. The course materials included articles, blog entries, booklets, videos, lots of different kinds of materials, and those materials led to open debates and discussions. There was active participation through planning and carrying out both in and out of class activities on the part of the participants. Now, the session communication tools were also Schoology and Facebook. That was optional. Schoology this year was chosen as a learning management site, basically for the same reasons that have been mentioned before by Harry, in teaching pronunciation differently, but also because it allows recordings and discussions to be kept for further reference. And so this year we moved to Schoology. Then the Facebook group is optional and is a closed group. Particularly in my case as a participant, it was very important because as the course takes place in January and February, here in South America in general, we are on holiday. So we could plan activities, I could plan activities, but I couldn't carry them out. And it was a very important aspect of the course to be able to plan it, to discuss all the different steps and processes during the planning, but then to put it into practice and to share the outcome. That was something that particularly I could not do. So the Facebook group provided this opportunity to be in touch and to, with a bit of delay, quite a lot of delay, but a couple of months later I could share what had happened with my activities and how the students had reacted. Apart from that, it still provides an environment, the Facebook group, where we share information, tools, experiences. We keep in touch with a lot of other teachers who are interested in the same aspects. And so it's really a very interesting virtual learning environment. So it's a very good idea to be in touch through Facebook. It's one of the aspects of the course that was very important was to bear in mind that teaching listening skills is quite different than testing listening comprehension. And as teachers in general, as what I have been able to see through this sharing all over the world, is that we are more accustomed to testing listening comprehension more than helping our students to be able to listen. And so that was one of the key issues that was addressed all throughout the course to teach listening skills. So the first week, in the first week, we concentrated on autonomous listening out of class. The main discussion was on out-of-class resources, and participants were given a template to create a log for scaffolding out-of-class activities. In all cases, the idea is to share what the participants produce and to comment on other participants, and then we've got the comments from the moderators too. The second week moves on to traditional listening frameworks and the idea of including authentic materials even with lower level students. Participants are then asked to keep on working on the log, including listening activities or even a complete listening lesson based on authentic material. All of these, in many cases, is put into practice almost immediately, well, depending, as I said before, on the context. The third week goes into critical thinking and high-order thinking listening tasks, and this is what we discussed during that week. And participants are asked to go back to the original log and to revisit the activities that had been proposed to see if they had actually added anything connected with high-order thinking listening skills. And if not, the idea is to add another activity. That leads to week 4 then with decoding skills and the discussion of features of connected speech in authentic extracts. Again, participants go back to the log and the different activities that they have been designing to see what connected speech features they should emphasize. And everything, as it says in the slides, the idea is to share what they find and to make comments on each other's documents. So week 5, they're in week 5, the practical activities to teaching listening decoding skills, and there is a discussion of software tools that make it easier to teach decoding skills. And so now the idea is to add a further activity which includes some kind of software tool to the original one that they started in the first week. So there is a constant enlarging and completing and revisiting of the activities decided from week 1 onwards. It's far more interesting when you can actually be putting it into practice at that moment. But in my particular case as a participant, what I could do was to have a final product that was very neat to put into practice later. So as for some examples, here what we got is one document that was a shared document that, as you can see from the parts below, the tabs, there are 3 different tabs. One included classroom activity ideas, another one resources for autonomous listening menu, and then low prep activities and ideas. It was very interesting to see that in the end, we got, there we are, in the end, we got more than 120 contributions. So as the other moderators have already pointed out, it's a question of learning as participants and learning as a moderator as well. I think none of us could just come up with 120 resources for listening. So it was very enriching on all parts as participants and as moderators. As this document is still available for everybody, and so what we get in the end is an invaluable treasure trove of ideas, activities, resources that we can always go back to. There's then, there's then this the example of week 1 template. What you can see complete is one of the examples of the very first part and of the course, and well, this is the part. This is how everything starts, and then it grows as weeks pass by. Then if we go to some key facts, this year there were 523 registered participants, more than 400 introductions in the first week, 3,198 comments. That makes a very interesting discussion and contributions throughout the 5 weeks. Now, as for my own experience as a participant, I found myself revisiting key concepts, refreshing ideas and strategies. And I think this is the most important part, sharing experiences involving both frustrations and effective activities, identifying similarities and differences regarding teaching and learning contexts around the world, and feeling part of a group. It's very important, I believe, for us teachers, and maybe for us in South America, like very, very far away teaching English, that our problems in Argentina, I feel that our problems in Argentina were the same that somebody was having in, say, France or Russia, and others have other problems that nobody seems to have that ideal classroom that we believe there is somewhere. So that really helped a lot. It helped me as a participant, and also it helped me to work as a moderator later. So as a moderator, I have to acknowledge that it was kind of overwhelming at first to be able to answer, get feedback, keep discussions going. It was very interesting to be encouraging the discussions or challenging ideas and expanding social circles in general. I guess in any case that the most important lesson from EVO is this question of learning and relearning. And I believe really that the idea of constructing knowledge in these sessions have acquired a very real dimension. And they are invaluable experiences, both as participants or as moderators. So really, I'm glad I have been part of it as both. So hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for listening.
Thank you, Daniela. We'll have to move quickly to Mubarak because, well, I don't know if we really have to stop at 20 minutes after the hour, but we want to give him adequate time to deliver his presentation. Thank you very much. And Mubarak, are you ready?
Yes.
This is Mubarak Akader. He's one of the, he was lead coordinator for Electronic Village Online for a couple of years, until just this last year, for 3 years. And that's a very demanding position, and we certainly appreciate all he's done for EVO, or Electronic Village Online.
Can you hear me?
We can hear you, yes.
Thank you, Vance. Well, hi everyone at the TESOL convention in Chicago. Nelly and all the moderators and coordinators.
Can you speak more loudly?
In this meeting.
Can you speak louder? Or
yeah.
I don't know what tools we have here.
I hope you can hear me now. Okay, here. Well, my presentation is about online tools used in Electronic Village online sessions.
Can you come closer to the microphone?
Platform.
Can you come closer? Right on top of the mic.
Is it okay here?
Maybe better.
Well, as I said, PBWorks or wikis are the main platform in which we collaborate as a coordination team. We use wikis for call for proposals, and we use wikis for receiving proposals from moderation teams. Here they submit their proposals, and of course we get them for vetting and evaluation. Then we use the wikis for training moderators. Here we also do kind of syllabus for the moderators. Not all moderators need training, but the majority of them go through this training to know how to learn want to update how to moderate their sessions, because Electronic Village Online has some traditions and some customs that should be, let's say, safeguarded, especially allowing lurkers to attend and to participate in sessions. Here we use also another wiki as an archive for Electronic Village Online documents. Here we can find, let's say, previous sessions and sessions like all the previous ones from 1917, 2017 and back. We also use a wiki for call for participation. And this is one of the wikis we used and we shared on different social media. We also use another type with Google Communities, in which we created three. We generally every year we create three communities, especially one for the coordinators, where we share and we exchange our updates. Another Google community for moderators. As you see it here, it has all moderators should join this community and introduce themselves and then talk about their sessions and the challenges they face or any problem they have. We also use another community for able sessions and for participants. And here participants from all sessions are invited to join in and to interact and to socialize with participants from all over the world who join different sessions. We use the third platform we use is the Google Groups or Yahoo Mail. Here we could not get, let's say, change this for anything else. We tried to use only Google Communities last year. We tried to use Trello, but we came back to Yahoo Groups, which we found closer to our habits and our hearts in a certain way, because they are, we think they are more immediate and prompt. We also use Google Drive for collaboration and sharing, especially we create shared folders in which we put everything which is related to the preparations or the ongoing of the sessions, especially like graphics, like vetting proposals, like making or assigning moderators and mentors to sessions. We use Google Drive to collaborate on all that, to prepare even for some surveys and forms. We also used the Facebook group this year and last year to promote the call for participation and call for proposals. Here it is a group which a lot of people joined, and it has updates. We share here, we meet, we make comments, and we interact with potential participants. Another tool we used for 3 years now is S'more, which is a magazine or newsletter, in which we prepare to as a call for proposals or call for participation. As you may see here, the number is displayed here, the number of viewers. We have a good number here of EVO 2017 as a call for participation. Here it's easier to share on social media platforms. We also used Twitter hashtag EVO sessions. All let's say moderators and coordinators are try to use this hashtag for EVO sessions. We sometimes get some scammers and people who don't like really to respect the decisions, and we try to deal with them, let's say, wisely. We also used Blackboard Collaborate for live sessions, and here Vance, thankfully, does the great job of preparing the room and live streaming the live sessions through other platforms and services like Google Hangout on Air and YouTube and Chatwing. So our sessions are generally present on different platforms, not only on the Blackboard Collaborate. So you can watch the live session on YouTube, you can watch it on Hangout, and you can also chat with in a Chatwing, ask questions and so on. So this is one of the great things Vance does, and he is charged of this. Thank you very much, Vance, for doing this, for having done this for years and years. Well, we have also something a platform I recently introduced. It is Flipgrid, which we use to record the feedback of participants and especially moderators. It is a great tool which I think we should try to use frequently, because it encourages to see and to share the feedback of moderators and participants. Here we also use SurveyMonkey for surveys, pre-starting survey and post surveys with participants and with moderators. Of course, these are great tools to collect data concerning electronic village online sessions. We also use the mailing lists, okay, especially with tiny letter. So as you see it now, we use different platforms and services, which is great work, which is needed, and which is done by the coordination team especially, and afterwards the moderation team. This does not mean that these are the only tools we use. Of course, these are used only by the coordination team, and every session, each session have the right to choose their own platforms, like Dr. Lily, for example, she prefers WiseQ and Moodle. There are platforms which use Edmodo. There are platform sessions which use Schoology and other platforms. So we give freedom to session teams to decide on the best, let's say, platform they want to use. Well, thank you very much again, Vance. Thank you, Nelly. Thank you, everyone who is watching. And I'm really happy to attend online or virtually the TESOL convention for the third time, 2 times online. This is my 2nd time online. So looking forward to attending on site another time. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mubarak. We really appreciate that behind-the-scenes look at EVO. That's one of the interesting, I think, one of the most beneficial things about EVO, or Electronic Village Online, is how you become familiar with these tools. And of course, they transfer into your working life. Sometimes I surprise my colleagues by finding just the thing that we could use to get a project together. And I was at a presentation recently, Mubarak, where someone was working with students, and they said that one of the tools they really warmed up to for organizing their classwork was Trello, which you didn't mention here, but that was one from a couple of years ago. So anyway, okay, Mubarak, well, thank you very much. Any last words as parting EVO coordinator? You have the floor if you want to just, or does anybody have any questions for Mubarak? Any questions from the audience? Okay. Anyway, Mubarak, well, thank you very much. Okay. We can't hear you, so I guess your sound is off. A good parting shot there. Okay. Let me see if I can, I'll see if I can minimize the median, just to let all the participants know. This is your handout. This is the first 2 pages of your handout. And this is page 3, page 4, page 5, okay? So if you go to the QR code that you see, the small one there, or there's, I think, Well, not a big one on the back. Okay, so the small one there, if you shoot that, or just go to the tiny URL, it says the hyperlinks below are at tinyurl.com/bestofevo. So if you go there, then you'll see the hyperlinks on the handout are all hyperlinked for you, and they take you, for example, to Mubarak's presentation. It looks like he had a plan B for us. Didn't have to use it, fortunately, but he's recorded his presentation, so you can hear the recording. And we have a recording also, because we've been streaming this, as we're streaming several of the presentations that are listed in your program book. So if you go to, actually, if you go to CalIS, this one, CalIS 2018 ppworks.com, then you can find all the webcast sessions. So you see, you didn't really have to be here all this time. You could have got the recording later. But we appreciate that you came. And my name is Vance Stevens. And we have other EVO team members here. Maria, what's the last name? Palomino. Okay, it's hyphenated, but it's more to than that. And Jonah Moose, Jonah Moose, of course. I'm terrible on names. I don't know. Sort of less Dixie. Okay, well, anyway, thank you very much. Yes, of course. Yeah. Picture time. So I guess we should stop the session, Jonah? Yeah, okay. Okay, I'll stop in the middle. You can